Hello and welcome. We're currently having a few technical difficulties, so no changes from the standard running of things. We're just waiting for the lobby to be reopened and then we will get underway with qualifying. Stewards are saying that the practice will be used as qualifying. Let's have a look. Can't see a lobby yet at the moment. How about we come out and go back in again? Nope, still no lobby. Hey, there we go. Looks like we got a pretty decent signal on this one, so fingers crossed all goes according to plan this evening. We'll just wait for the drivers to also join in. Stewards are letting the drivers know to not go out just yet, as the practice session will be used in lieu of qualifying. I suspect due to a number of technical difficulties that they're having at the moment. But of course, that's not going to stop people from going out, as we have GT Racer already out on track. Okay, drivers now being asked to enter in. That means they will be clicking at the green tick, and then qualifying should begin. We won't have the usual qualifying screen that crops up just beforehand, as we're using practice for the qualifying session, but I believe the qualifying rules still apply, so no overtaking during qualifying. We did have one of the drivers earlier in the season fall afoul of that, and they got docked 5 points, but drivers are now back into the pits and then once the drivers are ready, the stewards will allow them to exit the pits and begin the qualifying in very inverted commas. So at the moment we have racing this evening of Rob on the drums, GT Racer, Digital Blasphemy, MFC Doors, Mika and OKC Ranger. Drivers are now being allowed to go and start their qualifying. So first out of the pits we have Rob on the drums. Tonight for the round 7 of the Sunday Night League Porsche Cup Series, we are at the Autopolis circuit. Specifically, we're at the shortcuts course, where it has a number of corners taken out. This does mean though that we have 22 laps. The weather is looking pretty cloudy. Hopefully the rain will hold off for the foreseeable future, but it may be some damp conditions out there due to the cloudy weather. Each lap is 1.88 miles, and we've got totaling 12 corners. This, I believe, is the first track we are going to, which is based on a real-life track. over in Japan. Let's have a little look at the championship tables going into round 7. So after the end of round 6, in the lead at the moment we have Rob on the drums with 94 points, although spinning out a little bit there, choosing instead to go back to the pits, which maybe wasn't the best decision for qualifying, given the limited amount of time, as they'll have to go through and do their outlap first of all and return back, as I don't think they'd actually finished their outlap just yet. But as I said, Rob on the drums is currently first in the championship with 94 points. Digital Blasphemy very close behind with 92 points in second. So keep a close eye on these two, as that Digital Blasphemy just puts a little wheel on the grass just after the curb there, taking too much, going over the top of the track there, taking too much, and just clips and spins it right around. As I said, the track here is perhaps a little damp in some places, so drivers will be wanting to be quite careful with making sure they don't overstep the mark a bit too much. As we've seen, Rob on the drums and Digital Blasphemy have both managed to spin out. Both drivers currently very close. MFC Doors just getting a bit of oversteer there. I think perhaps a little bit late on the brake. Manages to hold it and keep it on the track. Only sticks 2 wheels over, but doesn't spin, fortunately. That would have added quite a significant portion of time to their lap time, though. At the moment, OKC Ranger is the sitting in pole position with a 107.954. OKC Ranger actually at the moment is sitting in 5th with 62 points, so still a bit behind the front runners of the championship table, but they are in sort of the middle pack of the group, as we've got at the moment after round 6 Rob on the drums with 94 points in first, Digital Blasphemy in second with 92 points, GT Racer, who's currently running down in 4th on the grid at the moment, is running 3rd with 84 points. Mulevin is in 4th with 77 points. OKC Ranger, as mentioned before, has got 62 points in 5th, but Zanspeed's right behind them with 60 points. Yokas with 52, then Jekko with 50. Daz at the moment with 47. Who else we've got on this evening? Mika sits in 11th at the moment with 32 points. MFC Doors behind her in 13th with 30 points. So we want to be keeping an eye on Mika and on MFC Doors to see where they finish, or who finishes ahead of whom. With the reduced number of drivers able to attend this evening's race, it'll be a good haul of points for each of these drivers. Should bump them up the grid order. Setting a best sector there for Mika. Other drivers to look out for: Digital Blasphemy and Rob on the drums at the moment, both vying for that front running position on the championship. 108.9, so not too far off the back of Digital Blasphemy there. Only a second and a half or so off. Now let's go back to Digital Blasphemy, who starts another flying lap. They've opted for the super softs on this occasion, so none of the drivers must think that there is grip to be had there, providing they stay on the racing line. Digital Blasphemy just setting a previous best time of 107.1, and they've just set a best first sector. So let's go on board with Digital Blasphemy. Now we've got the hairpin at the bottom of the track here. Oh, just rides that curb, but just gets on it a bit too much, runs it for too long, and gets that rear left on the grass, which sends the back end out. Oh, Oh, that's cutting a bit much of that corner out. I don't think they intended to do that. This may not be the flyer they were expecting it to be, although they do set a purple sector. So perhaps a lot of the drivers here are struggling for that grip, and so they're managing to peel off a lot of time. Into the pits though, interestingly, I would have thought Digital Blasphemy would have stayed out, given the 2 purple sectors they had there, to go and do better than the 107.1. But Rob on the drums, who's currently in second on the grid order, tailing behind, I believe, OKC Ranger. Nope, GT Racer, my apologies. Who is having a hard time keeping it on the tarmac, really fighting with the car there to get it round. Of course, these Porsches being rear-engined means that once that back end sticks around, they've got a lot of the weight on the back. I think Rob on the drums here is just trying to give a bit more space to GT Racer in front, try and clear some of that air so they can go for a flyer. As they come around the last corner here, this hairpin, you want to aim for a very late apex on this corner so that you can really put the beans down all just there, and you more or less don't need to slow down for that last kink left before the start-finish straight. If you get that late apex, as you've got enough momentum bringing you round, and there's hopefully enough grip on the tyres to keep you glued to the surface. So we come into turn 1 here. Should be quite interesting after a very long straight as to which drivers manage to make it to turn 1 and whether we have any incidents at all. I suspect the stewards may have had a few kind words with the drivers just to make sure they keep it nice and clean here. You can absolutely hear these struggling for grip as those tyres are screeching away. Interestingly, Rob on the drums opting for the softs here. Now, the tyre compounds available to them during the race will be the usual super soft, softs, medium and racing hards. So we'll see what the drivers end up going for, but as we've done so for the rest of this season, once drivers have used a tyre compound, they're not able to go back and reuse that compound again after they've pitted during the race. So we'll be curious to see what tyre compound they start on. So GT Racer just pulling to the side there. I think Rob on the drums was hoping for a bit more of a draft down the back there. Digital Blasphemy at the moment still got that 17.168, goes even quicker with a 106.8 this time. Very, very nicely done there. Shaves off 0.3 of a second. Now, are they going to go for another flyer? They again, see, they've opted for the super soft, so there's clearly the grip out there, but I wonder how long they can make these super softs last throughout the race. We've got 22 laps today, and with the tyre screeching as much as it is, it's clearly very hard on these tyres, so they may see a lot more wear on them than they're used to on some of the previous circuits we've been to. You can already see that just that red peeking through on the tyre degradation, and they've only done 1 and a bit laps. Sets another purple sector here, runs really wide to get that late apex. See that late apex I was just talking about there, which means they can absolutely floor it and really cut that corner, providing they keep at least 2 wheels on the track and don't cut it too much, but you can take a lot of liberties through there. They don't unfortunately go any faster. I think they were 0.003 off of their fastest time, but they are 0.7 of a second ahead of second place with OKC Ranger. So I think they could be safe at the moment. Let's have a look at the live timings. So the best lap at the moment is, as we mentioned, held by Digital Blasphemy, a 106.8. Rob on the drums is looking for that provisional second with a 107.7. Then severed by a mere 0.8 of a thousandth of a second, we've got GT Racer in third with a 108.403, but then MFC Doors very close behind with that 108.411. Not too far behind them by about half a second is Mika with a 108.907. an OK Ranger, sorry, with 107.6, which means OKC Ranger at the moment looks like they could be in second position, which bumps Rob on the drums down to third. But looks like we've got a bit of a divided pack here, where we've got the first three drivers there, so Rob on the drums, Digital Blasphemy, and OKC Ranger, my apologies, sorry, all setting quite fast times in the 106, 107s. They're quite close together. And then we've got the 108s of GT Racer, Mika, and MFC Doors. So it will be interesting to see how that plays with the rest of the race. Drivers being instructed not to go into the pits, so they're all waiting out just on the start finish there. There's a few drivers that are trailing along behind, so Rob on the drums just coming around the last corner here on a bit of a cool down session. So it looks like we're going straight to racing. Just waiting for or are we waiting for the drivers? Mika doing, I believe, some cheeky donuts there, maybe. Oh no, going the wrong way into the pits. Not usually allowed. But something to pass the time whilst we're waiting for all the drivers to confirm that they are good to go. Once again, drivers to keep an eye on in terms of competition is Rob on the drums and Digital Blasphemy, both vying for first place in the championship. And also, we're looking for Mika and MFC Doors, who are only split by 2 points. So I think all the drivers have now confirmed that they are ready. OKC Ranger has found himself over in the gravel pit. Not the best place to be doing some donuts, but when you're having a little wait, why not? Hello and welcome once again to Sunday Night League. We are here for round 7 in cloudy Japan, where we are joined at the Autopolis shortcut course. Only 6 drivers racing tonight, which means they'll be in for a good haul of points. Starting on pole today, we have GT Racer, and we'll wait for the green lights to go out before we get underway. Bit of a damp circuit out there and a long straight down to the first turn. Got a great start, GT Racer. Mika trying to cover that position, made not as good a start, but Rob on the drum shooting way up into second position already. Now let's go into the first corner. GT Racer gets nice into that first corner, no real competition. Take it nice and slow through there. Tyres are still cold, although it looks like we've got a glitch at the moment. You can just see that some of the cars were shaking a bit, and now the stewards are saying to restart, I believe, restart the lobby or restart the race. We will have to see. Do apologise for the technical difficulties. It does seem to be becoming a part and parcel of the online racing. So we're just going to do a final reset of the lobby, and then with any luck we should be able to get underway with our race this evening. So there we are, lobby has been cancelled. We'll just wait to see when and if it appears. So no comments from the stewards for this particular race. But as I mentioned, going into that first corner, it did seem on that initial race that we had that then had to be cancelled due to a glitch, that they were going quite clean into that first corner. It's very key that they get a good start, a good runoff from the grid, as it's a very, very long straight down towards the first corner. Although those starting behind, like we saw with Rob on the drums, might starting at the back might get a good benefit and opportunity from drafting a number of the other cars, as they'll be pushing the air out the way for those behind. So it could be more beneficial to start lower down the grid order. A bit late for drivers to be playing around with those kind of strategies now, as we've already had the qualifying. But we'll just see again what happens when we do the race restart. Drivers being instructed to enter into the race. We will go just on board. So we had 6 drivers before, I believe. We will just wait for the other 3 to join. The other 2 to join. Even. And then later today, starting at approximately 8:30, we are looking forward to having our Formula X race, which will be using the full Autopolis circuit. That'll be streamed here on our YouTube channel for Sunday Night League. Just waiting for the last driver to join, who I'm not sure if they've managed to find the lobby again after it's been reset. We will have to see. Hey, there we go. So I think we're just waiting for GT Racer to enter into the thing, which I believe they have done now, and then the stewards will change the room settings. Let's go on board, why not, with Rob on the drums, or rather not, who's currently sitting on the main straight. Okay, this is the final restart of the lobby, as unfortunately we can't do this all evening. Just got the countdown to the race start. So as may have left out last previously, after the qualifying, the driver that finishes on pole, the 2nd and 3rd, are then moved to the back of the grid. They do get 5, 4 and 3 points respectively, but they are moved to the rear of the grid, which has worked out quite nicely in terms of spicing up the race, as they've then got to fight their way through the traffic. So we are back once again for Round 7 of Sunday Night League's Porsche Cup. Here we are at the Autopolis shortcut circuit. So we wait for the lights to go out, and away we go. Hey, there we go. Right, all the drivers managing to get away. MFC Doors comes straight across, trying to block off Mika. I think he's lost a bit of speed in trying to get across the track over to Mika, as Mika has managed to pull away, blocks off. MFC Doors manages to cut in on the apex and take first place already. Well done, Mika. That was a pretty tidy overtake going into the first turn. Quite a wide track here, so should be plenty of room for overtaking. A number of these drivers, the tyres will be quite cold, and the track is quite damp given the cloudy weather. So they'll be wanting to make sure that they're not trying to brake too late, as they may risk it and find themselves over in the gravel. A number of drivers already spinning in both qualifying and practice, taking a lot of curb through some of the corners and just running out of curb and getting one wheel on the off on the grass, and that's enough to spin them right round. So we've got Rob on the drums currently all over the back of OKC Ranger as we come up to the final corner of the track. Mika getting a stunning, absolutely stunning lead now, with GT Racer close behind, so 1.19 for second lead. Ooh, we've got a bit of action down the rest of the track. So OKC Ranger pulls out from behind MSC Doors, goes to take that inside line and says thank you very much, and has that. What a great overtake there. Let's maybe have a look at that one again. So we go back, no, that clearly wasn't enough. But nevertheless, having to fight for that position up into third at the moment. MFC Doors is not letting them get away with it that easily. And they are all over the back. Goes for quite a late break there into that corner. Goes quite deep. Not sure if that's a particular line that they like to take through that corner, or whether maybe they just outbroke themselves trying to protect against Rob on the drums behind them. So Mika shooting off into the distance there, you can see. And at the moment, the two drivers currently fighting for that first place in the championship. Oh, Rob on the drums just taking a bit of dirt there. The two drivers fighting for the championship at the moment are Rob on the drums and Digital Blasphemy, who are both in 5th and 6th. So they're right down the bottom of the grid order. Mika doing fantastically at the moment, getting up to 2 second lead. She's opted for the softs to start the race, setting another purple sector. Not having to attack or defend too much means that she can really focus on setting in those fast lap times, which you'll want to do to get away from the rest of the group as quickly as possible. But interesting that you opted for the softs there. Looking down the rest of the grid, OKC Ranger on the supers, would have thought that they would have a lot of grip. I mean, they're really making that grip work for them. Oh, that was a bit of a nudge there from OKC Ranger. Let's go back and have a look at that one. So we've got OKC Ranger just comes on the inside of GT Racer. I think, I don't think they touched there. I didn't hear a bit of a touch. I think maybe GT Racer might have tried to give a bit more room, could see the collision coming, tried to give that room, and ended up falling behind. But unfortunately, that means they've dropped themselves back down to 6th position and quite a way down the field. They're on 7 seconds behind. Does bring OKC Ranger up into 2nd. So at the moment, OKC Ranger currently in the championship tables, they are about 5th with 62 points. So they're part of the midfield group. Be good for them to get some points here, but looking like a great haul at the moment. But we're only on lap 4 of 22. There is still very much a lot to play for here, and they are absolutely eating up that lead. That 2 second lead Mika previously had, now down to 1.2 seconds. So those super softs clearly paying off for OKC Ranger, taking quite a bit of curb and a bit more grass with them going through that corner. I think it was a little bit messy there. Clearly maybe getting a bit frustrated trying to catch and hunt down Mika before knowingly those supers are going to drop off at some point. But Mika has the advantage at the moment of having the softs and having been in clean air for quite a while, that she can really manage those tyres and hope that even though OKC Ranger gets past on the supers, that the tyres will degrade far quicker than the softs, and that maybe she can stay out a couple laps more. It'll be interesting to see what tyres they go for next, actually. OKC Ranger absolutely all over the back of Mika at the moment. Be interesting to see what tyres they will opt for now, particularly I suspect those on the supers. So OKC Ranger will then go for the softs, but will we see some of the soft drivers go for the medium tyre compound, or whether they'll jump onto the supers? I'm thinking this may have to be a 2-stop race. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it with a 1-stop unless those on the softs try and eat eat a lot of that tyre up and get as much out of it as they possibly can. Getting a bit of draft down the back of Mika as OKC Ranger goes in, tries to take that apex there. Not sure what went on. They seemed a bit hesitant going into that corner. Maybe they were trying to make sure that they'd left enough room for Mika. Mika, I think, had lost the position but managed to get it back again. But now OKC Ranger finds themselves really fighting with MSC Doors there, who is not letting them go, just giving them a few nudges there, reminding them like, I'm right behind you. So anything happens, it's not sitting. They're not sitting on their resting on their laurels, so to speak. They've already got to make sure they stay in that second position. As much as they're fighting for first, they've got to be very wary that third, fourth, and fifth are not that far behind. So we've got OKC Ranger going for another attack down on the outside of Mika. Doesn't quite make it stick. Goes for that late apex though. Gets a bit more speed. As I mentioned previously, it's very key getting that late apex to give you a lot more speed down the main straight here. So we've got the cars side by side into turn one. OKC Ranger has the inside line coming into the first corner. The right-hander. Will they? Oh, Mika just giving them a bit of a nudge there. They do make the overtake stick though. However, they've had to eat a bit of those supers to get the job done. Now Mika got Rob on the drums right behind them. We'll see if she manages to keep him behind. So at the moment, on lap 7, we've got OKC Ranger finally making it up into first position that had previously been held by Mika since the beginning of the race. Mika on some somewhat more worn tyres, interestingly. Her softs are worn much more than the supers of OKC Ranger. Could be a bit interesting actually in how that plays out with the tyre strategy if OKC Ranger is a bit more kinder to their tyres and managing to... Oh, that's not going to be so kind to the tyres. Cutting the corner a little bit there. Taking a lot of grass, OKC Ranger, on that final corner. I wonder whether there'll be any sort of investigation or something for that. You just see GT Racer coming around the corner at the back of the screen there. They had a bit of an off earlier with OKC Ranger. Not sure whether the stewards want to investigate that and see what happened. I don't think there was any contact, but it's worth another look. At the moment, still fighting for, I suppose this would be second position. We've got 4 cars in it, all forming a train back to back, but there's been a few position changes, swapping around. We've got Rob on the drums and Digital Blasphemy, both fighting for that championship lead at the moment. Only on, taking quite a lot of grass there. Digital Blasphemy looked like they went quite wide. They're going to have lost a lot of time there, unfortunately, which opens the door for MFC Doors. I think we're trying to go around the outside there. Mika doing very nicely to hold that inside line. Let's go back on board with Mika. Holds that inside line, doesn't quite make the position stick. Not really utilising that draft from Rob on the drums there, but Digital Blasphemy and MFC Doors both getting quite a bit of draft as they both calm down. Ooh. Getting quite close there as they go 2 abreast into turn 1. Mika being pushed out wide. Mika currently on the grass. Can she get back on the track without spinning it? Oh, she does very, very well there to keep that car going in a straight line and not spinning it around. She has dropped down to 5th though, behind MFC Doors, who currently she is fighting for in the championship. MFC Doors now up to 3rd, but Mika just getting that back end out there, unfortunately, losing quite a bit of speed in the process of doing so. Rob on the drums now up into 2nd position. Digital Blasphemy down in 4th. They got a few bits of traffic they need to clear if they want to stay on top of the championship. At the moment, MFC Doors is splitting the 2 championship fighters. And I believe OKC Ranger now up with a 2.8 second lead. And their super softs are looking pretty alright actually at the moment. I think this could be a one-stop race even. If they can get, if they're able to make these supers last for the next couple of laps and then jump on the softs, then I suspect the softs, Oh, that's not going to do a whole world of good. Just gets a wheel on the grass there, sends the back flying out. They managed to hold that very nicely though. They've not let it get away from them though. I wonder whether that's a bit of the calling card to say, hey, look, these tires, they're starting to fall off a cliff here. You may want to consider changing and swapping to the softs. So we'll have a stay on board with OKC Ranger at the moment, who's currently leading, to see whether they come in. Yeah, look at that, 1.9 seconds they added from having that little tank slapper. Will they come into the pits though, or will they stay out? It looks like they're staying out. So we'll just see how many more laps they reckon they can squeeze out of these supers before they need to jump onto the softs. And then vice versa, those that are on the softs at the moment, we want to be making sure they get as much out of them as possible. Because from previous experience with the supers, once they drop off the cliff, they really do jump off a cliff completely. It's quite a rapid decline in terms of grip. Now on lap 11, we're halfway through this race already. We've got OKC Ranger in first, leading by about 0.7 of a second, 0.8 of a second. Rob on the drums in third. Digital Blasphemy, now having cleared MFC doors, is going to want to be hunting down Rob on the drums, as they're in third at the moment. MFC doors is in fourth, with Mika right behind in fifth, although 3.2 seconds down the way. Mika's softs are looking pretty ragged, not as kind to the tyres as some of the other drivers, it would seem. They were out in front for a lot of the time. Maybe that's what's done a bit more damage. So OKC Ranger into the pits now. Maybe that's what's done the more damage to her softs than some of the other drivers, is not having that traffic and not using, or not being able to coast along and keep behind other people pushing the air out of the way. And then down in fifth at the moment, although I'm not sure if they're going to be able, they're 10.7 seconds behind, unless they can do something very, very smart with the pit stop, but I'm not sure. They could try and eke out, they are on the soft, so they could potentially eke out the whole race on these softs. They will need to pit at some point for fuel though. But we'll have to see what GT Racer, whether they can pull this one back. I'm not too sure if they can after that spin earlier, unfortunately. So at the moment, Rob on the drums, now the gap behind them to Digital Blasphemy, only 0.4 seconds. If we take a look at the tyres, Rob on the drums is soft, particularly that rear left, are looking a lot more haggard than Digital Blasphemy, who's got a pretty even wear across all four tyres. Clearly the tyre management king of the race at the moment. Not going for any overtakes at the moment. You would have thought they would have got enough of a draft down that long straight before turn one to maybe go for an inside lunge down the inside. We'll see, as they are currently all over the back of Rob on the drums. There is absolutely nothing between the two of them. So we go around the hairpin at the bottom. We'll have a look, see if anything can come out of it as we continue round up to the second to last corner. Ooh, just flicking the car over to the left there to avoid. Oh, going very, very deep on the braking here from Digital Blasphemy. Rob on the drums trying to cover that inside line, but maybe that's not paid off for them, because, as we mentioned before, that late apex is very, very key in getting a good rundown of this final straight, and particularly with that draft, as Rob on the drums just pushing the air out of the way. We've got Digital Blasphemy now creeping alongside. Who's going to be the last to brake? Rob on the drums tries to go for that little late break, but Digital Blasphemy, I think, just ekes a little bit more out. I think there was a bit of hesitancy there. They tried to brake first, saw that Rob on the drums went to brake, and then backed off a little bit. Let's have another look at that. So if we look, Rob on the drums goes for that brake first of all. Digital Blasphemy thinks, oh, I could just have this, let me just stick it on there. Makes good use, full use of the track there. Very nice overtake into turn one from Digital Blasphemy, who takes into the lead. So We've had a number of drivers pit at the moment, but we'll see who will be the next to pit. At the moment, the only drivers to have pitted are OKC Ranger, Mika, and GT Racer. GT Racer now 9.4 seconds behind Mika at the back, so they're on their outlap. So they've opted for the supers, Mika as well opting for the supers, and OKC Ranger opting for the softs. We've got Rob on the drums at the moment in the pits. They were on the softs. I suspect they're going to be going on to the supers for the rest of the race, and Digital Blasphemy is going to try and get as much out of these supers as they physically can. They're doing very well at the moment with this tyre management. I'm quite impressed. The fastest lap though is going to 107.5 to OKC Ranger, which is one of the qualifying times. Actually, we saw 106 in qualifying. We'll have just taking a bit of grass with them there. I'm very intrigued. Digital Blasphemy seems to be taking a lot of grass with them, but they're not doing as much damage to their tyres. Oh, having said that thing, I think I spoke too soon. What's gone on there? So they've taken a bit of the gravel with them at this point. Goes up into the penultimate corner, goes late on the brakes. Oh, I think late on the brakes, locks up into the gravel. I think they may definitely be coming into the pits now, or not even. No, they've stayed out. But rather interestingly, MFC Doors comes into the pit. So this means that Digital Blasphemy at the moment has an 18-second lead. Now I'm not too sure what the pit length is, but usually it's around 20 to 30 seconds. So I don't think they've got enough of a gap between them and Rob on the drums to comfortably go for a pit and change their tyres. Now equally, we've only got 6 laps left of this race, and looking at the amount of damage that they've done to their tyres so far, on the supers no less as well, they may try and turn the engine mode down a bit. They've still got just over a quarter of a tank. Turn the engine mode down, really utilise the fact that they've got 16 seconds to play around with, lift and coast as they go. You can see as they're coming down here, they haven't got full on the beans, it's not bouncing off the rev limiter. So it could be that they're trying, yeah, look, if you look at the revs, it looks like they're short shifting the whole way, really trying to conserve their fuel. I reckon they might not stop. I think this might be it for Digital Blasphemy for the rest of the race. They may try and make those supers. I'd be very impressed if they do manage to make the supers last the entire race. Rob on the drums setting a purple sector there on some supers. So the previous lap record was held by OKC Ranger with a 107.5, but Rob on the drums did set on their last lap a 107.9. There was one lap where they had a 106.2. I'm not sure if that stood though, as I feel like that may have either been when they pitted, so that wouldn't have counted. Another purple sector, so we'll stay on board now then with Rob on the drums to see if whether those purple sectors, they can pull it all together to get across the line and go for a new... Oh, yes they do. Look at that, a 107.532. Very nicely done for Rob on the drums there. So on lap 18, taking that fastest lap. Not sure if any of the other drivers... So a 108 there, last lap from MFC Doors. OKC Ranger set a 107.9. Ooh, just getting the back end a little bit drifty there. Manages to hold on to it though. Not seeing any more fastest laps. Oh no! Oh, going very deep there. I think if we have a look, yeah, you see the back end's just screaming at them, trying to call for grip. If we have a look here, they've gone off. I think they're just just too late on the braking, I think. There, they've locked up and overshot and gone into the gravel. Where does that leave them, though? As it does mean that the gap to Mika is now 6.9 seconds. I'm wondering whether 4 laps is enough for Mika to try and catch up with them. But certainly won't be setting any fastest laps at the moment, particularly on the softs. Not when Rob on the Drums has got those supers to use to their advantage. Mika also opting for the supers, setting a 109.6 there. And GT Racer bringing up the rear also with the supers, setting a 109.1. Equally, we've got our 109 last lap with Digital Blasphemy. They did have a bit of an off, which explains the 112 you have on the right there. But they now only have a 9.7 second lead. And with not even 3 laps as they come around the penultimate corner, with 2 and a bit laps left, rather. Yes, they've added 1.2 seconds onto that sector there. They must have had a bit of an off, which they don't want to be doing, not when they're running the risk of these tyres being so worn already. And with Digital Blasphemy, sorry, Rob on the Drums, already they're looming in the distance. Only 9.2 seconds. 2 laps could be enough that they can just take it a bit easy and stay out in front with still some time to spare. It does look like Rob on the Drums has actually gone even faster than they did before. 107.471. I wonder whether they've got any more fastest laps left in them after they did set a 108.3. So I suspect they had a bit of an off on that sector. We'll just see whether they're setting any more purple sectors as they come around at the long left we have shortly before the penultimate corner. Actually, let's take a little bit of a look down the rest of the board. So Mika has managed to actually catch up with OKC Ranger, it seems. Now down to a 0.7 gap. There was previously 6 seconds between the two of these. OKC Ranger must have had another off somewhere that has really opened that gap up. Now, question is, can Mika get the draft down this straight and make a move going into turn 1 to take the 4th position away from OKC Ranger? I'm certain that she will have a go at it. GT Racer closing down there. So Mika having a look on the inside, but I think she was a bit too far back to make any moves. Will want to be staying quite close as we are on the second to last lap here, lap 21 of 22. If she wants to be making any moves at all, she's going to be one of making them this lap and definitely the next lap. Cutting a lot of the apexes, really trying to hold that position, OKC Ranger. Don't think it's going to be an easy ride. I think they know they've had a few offs. We've got the fuel light. Ooh, we got the fuel light for OKC Ranger actually flashing up on them, which means they may have to turn that engine mode down to try and conserve fuel, as they've still got more than a lap left to finish the race. Doesn't look like they're doing much fuel saving. Not that we've seen from Digital Blasphemy, who was short shifting. So they're on the last lap, but that fuel light was flashing well before they crossed the start-finish line. Mika with plenty of fuel left in them. We'll have to see whether OKC Ranger runs out of fuel before the end of the race. Could make the difference of who finishes in 4th. But let's go back on with Digital Blasphemy, who coming around the last corner, they've been leading halfway through the race. They managed to take it with barely any fuel on board and only doing 1 set of supers. They crossed the line to take 1st position, and we've got Rob on the Drums Oh, who just misses out on setting that fastest lap. It was just taken by MFC Doors with 107.4, showing a little bit off, but Rob on the Drums comes home in second. MFC Doors very closely behind in third position, as OKC Ranger hasn't quite run out of fuel yet, as they may very well have done. They must have turned down the engine enough, but they come home in fourth, with me coming home in fifth, and GT Racer in sixth. GT Racer, very good recovery drive there. They were quite a number of seconds down. I think about 16 seconds down at one point during the race, with only finishing 2 seconds behind. So a great well done to Digital Blasphemy, who I believe this means they may very well take that championship lead. Let's have a look. So MFC Doors set the fastest lap on lap 21. Really leaving it to the last minute there. They did a 107.409. And then we have our winner for today, Digital Blasphemy, finishing in first, with Rob on the Drums taking second place. In third, we've got MFC Doors, OKC Ranger in fourth, Mika in fifth, and GT Racer in sixth. Thank you all very, very much for watching. We'll be streaming our Formula X race from Autopolis in about half an hour at 8:30. So until then, we'll see you later and have a good evening.